Little House on the Prairie is a reminder of when things were simpler for us in our lives those 45 years ago.
Melissa Gilbert spent decades whisper quiet about her bond with Dean Butler, the man who stole her heart on screen as Almanzo. Fans worshiped the perfect Prairie romance, convinced Laura and Almanzo were destiny made real. But was Dean truly her off-camera soulmate, or was the magic pure performance? Now Melissa's first honest confession is out, and once you hear it, that cozy television love story may never feel the same. If you ever raced home to watch Little House on the Prairie, Melissa Gilbert already feels like a relative. Viewers saw her grow from gap-toothed girl to resilient young woman, and they admired every second. At the center of the obsession was her on-screen chemistry with Dean Butler. One look at them sharing a sunset, and audiences melted. The show itself painted a tender picture of the Ingalls family, scraping by in a wooden cabin yet rich in loyalty and hope. Blizzards, sickness, even ruined crops tried to crush them, but kindness won each time. Melissa's lure was curiosity wrapped in courage. She did not need shiny toys or a telephone. She had adventure, laughter, and steady love. Week after week, viewers watched her learn about honesty and grit, and they felt those lessons in their own living rooms. As seasons rolled on, Laura's chores shifted from feeding chickens to nursing secret crushes, and that is when Dean Butler stormed in. The moment Dean appeared as Almanzo Wilder, hearts everywhere skipped a beat. He carried a calm strength, the kind that makes you trust someone in one glance. When Laura first locked eyes with him, fans swore they saw her pulse quicken through the screen. Suddenly, it was not just a story. It was a promise of real romance. Wedding scenes glowed with such warmth that many insisted the affection had to be genuine. Every Tiller's hat, every gentle look, screamed true love. Remember, the late 1970s did not come with Instagram stories or leaked set videos. Stars guard their private lives behind magazine interviews and polite smiles. That mystery let imaginations run absolutely wild. Viewers begged to know if Melissa and Dean were sneaking handwritten letters or meeting under the California moon. Yet both actors stayed eye-silent. No confirmation, no denial, just enough ambiguity to keep rumor mills spinning like wagon wheels. Behind those tender scenes, the set echoed with questions. Were the two secretly best friends? Did sparks fly once the director yelled cut? Or was every heartbeat you saw nothing more than flawless acting? Decades marched on, and curiosity only burned hotter. Meanwhile, the Laura Almanzo love arc became the emotional engine of the series. It gave the Prairie its pulse and cemented Melissa and Dean as household names. Families tune in not just for cornbread lessons, but to watch that romance blossom. Yet television can polish reality until it shines brighter than truth. Whispers grew louder. What happened when the cameras quit rolling? Why had neither star broken the silence? Most of all, what was a hidden fact behind their on-screen fire? After years of locked lips, Melissa has finally chosen to speak. Before we devour her revelation, we must travel back to her earliest steps. Melissa Gilbert's life did not start in a sunlit field, but in bustling Los Angeles on May 8th, 1964. Adopted at 1 day old by comedian Paul Gilbert and dancer-actress Barbara Crane, she entered show business before she could spell Hollywood. Even with loving parents, life inside an entertainment family came with pressure and swirling identity questions. Paul's warmth and quick jokes made auditions feel like play dates, and stage lights felt no brighter than bedroom lamps. Melissa tagged along to rehearsals, studying microphones and makeup tables as if they were everyday furniture. By 7, she was charming viewers in breakfast cereal commercials, her honest eyes grabbing casting directors faster than any flashy child star could. A few minor roles later, destiny knocked with a single audition, Laura Ingalls. Producers needed a child who could carry the show's beating heart, and Melissa's screen test with Michael Landon sealed the deal in minutes. Michael was not only leading man Charles Ingalls. Off camera, he became Melissa's guardian angel. From day one, he treated her like his own daughter, shielding her from industry storms and guiding her every step. When Melissa's adoptive parents later divorced, Michael's home became her emotional safe harbor. Weekends at the Landon house felt like family picnics. She formed sister-type friendships with his daughter Leslie, sharing sleepovers and secrets. For a young actress juggling fame and childhood confusion, that second home meant everything. Michael's steady belief told her she belonged in front of the camera, even when self-doubt screamed louder. Away from the set, reality was less charming than Prairie sunsets. Her parents split pile confusion onto her shoulders, and the spotlight sometimes felt blinding. Whenever fear crept in, Michael was one phone call away, reminding her she was stronger than any headline. Years later, she still names him as one of the most vital men in her life, crediting his faith with giving her courage to trust herself. The Little House cast became an extended family. Melissa built unbreakable bonds with co-stars like Allison Arngrim, who played unforgettable troublemaker Nellie Olson. They shared prank-filled lunch breaks, teary late-night talks, and countless lessons about loyalty. Those friendships shaped her not only as an actress, but as a person facing a whirlwind industry. So, why did she hush her heart for so long? What private storms rumble behind her gentle smiles? Melissa's journey from wide-eyed child to worldly adult is packed with twists, losses, and moments of breathtaking clarity. And at last, she has decided the world deserves the unfiltered story. Get ready, because the truth she drops about Dean Butler will flip decades of speculation upside down, change and crash into a teenager like a runaway train. And for Melissa Gilbert, that collision happened the moment Almanzo Wilder marched onto the Prairie set. She had already weathered seasons of fame, intense scripts, and public adoration. Yet the arrival of Dean Butler flipped her world upside down. Melissa and the character Laura were both stepping into first love, and viewers could not get enough. As Dean joined the cast, the chemistry exploded, turning Laura and Almanzo into TV royalty that fans still rave about. Behind those moonlit wagon rides, however, Melissa was quietly wondering whether she was only pretending or actually feeling sparks. What did a girl barely out of braces truly understand about romance? Was she reciting lines or living them? The difference mattered, because every whispered rumor that their love was real echoed through school hallways, grocery stores, and magazine racks. The struggle behind those dreamy scenes was fierce. Millions saw a fearless girl with flying braids, but the actress was a young soul grappling with grown-up demands. At 9, playing Laura felt like a carnival ride, costumes, horses, and wide-open sets that looked like history brought to life. Seasons passed and magic turned heavy. While classmates shared secret notes and met for ice cream after school, Melissa memorized page after page and cried on cue under blazing studio lights. Acting looked easy on the screen, yet in reality the responsibility could crush a kid's shoulders. Audiences expected perfection, and strangers treated her like Laura herself. Fans leaned in with wide eyes and asked her to be eternally sweet. But away from camera, she was just a girl hunting for identity. That confusion cut deep and grew louder every year. By her teens, the questions multiplied. Who am I? When does Laura stop and Melissa begin? People around her blended the two together until she almost believed it herself. And living inside that blur felt suffocating. Then came the awkward leap from friendship to scripted passion. Dean Butler entered the storyline as Laura's future husband, and suddenly a 15-year-old Melissa had to gaze lovingly into the eyes of a grown man for millions to see. No real boyfriend, no real dating experience, yet cameras demanded tender smiles and convincing kisses. Melissa later confessed those scenes felt stressful, even with Dean's gentle professionalism. Fans piled on with letters and interview questions, desperate to know whether the screen romance had spilled into real life. The pressure was relentless. Playing a woman in love while still learning what love even meant left Melissa feeling like a guest star in someone else's diary. She had to look radiant in every shot and sell a mature relationship that she barely understood. Applause thundered, yet inside she wrestled with a storm of doubt. As if emotional weight was not enough, Melissa battled a hidden sensory enemy called misophonia. Tiny noises that others ignored, like chewing or pen tapping, sent waves of anger through her. Medical science had no name for it then, so she endured the discomfort in silence until years later when she told People magazine about the struggle. Cameras eventually switched off, but the fight for self-worth kept rolling. In 1981, Melissa landed the lead in a new version of Splendor and Grass, and the studio immediately pushed her toward Hollywood glamour. Out went the modest Prairie frocks, and in came tight shimmering outfits that showed every curve. Those wardrobe fittings felt alien and claustrophobic. Tops were cut low, skirts shortened, and every hair strand was arranged to create the perfect starlet image. Suddenly, reviews focused on her body instead of her craft, and the microscope felt brutal. At 18, she faced a choice many young actresses confront: alter her appearance or risk losing roles. Melissa opted for a nose job right after her birthday, hoping the change would quiet insecurity and silence critics. She wrote in her memoir that the procedure was not a big deal. Yet the aftermath told a rougher story. I came out of the procedure with my face hurting like hell. They packed my nose with large strips of gauze soaked in liquid substances to help with the pain. The words dripped with raw honesty that viewers never saw on their screens. Healing dragged on, and complications forced 2 more surgeries. Each round brought fresh pain and new doubts, but the chase for acceptance did not stop. In later years, she added breast implants, pulled ever deeper into the industry's ruthless beauty checklist. For Melissa, the choices were never pure vanity. They were survival moves in a town that ranks looks above talent. Yet over time, the burden of altered body parts became heavier than any corset. Long before the romantic plot twist, Melissa fought a different battle: exhaustion. Week after week, she juggled on-set tutoring with late-night script changes, while classmates enjoyed carefree weekends. Tests were taken in trailer classrooms, and birthday parties were replaced by publicity shoots. That schedule would drain many adults, yet the world expected her to shine like sunshine every Monday night. The hidden condition of misophonia made long filming days tougher than anyone realized. Simple noises, a spoon clinking against a plate, the snap of a slate, even quiet breathing near her microphone, could trigger boiling frustration. Imagine trying to nail an emotional scene while your brain screams at perfectly normal sounds. With no diagnosis available, Melissa assumed the discomfort was her own secret flaw and blamed herself for not coping better. Pressure multiplied during wardrobe meetings for Splendor in the Grass. Producers laid glossy magazine covers on the table and pointed to exact cheekbones, waistlines, and silhouettes they wanted her to match. Each directive chipped away at her confidence. She would leave fittings holding back tears, yet still had to step in front of cameras pretending to feel powerful and poised. The night before the first surgery, she lay awake replaying every headline that mocked her looks. Fear wrestled with hope as she wondered whether changing her nose would silence the noise. She signed hospital papers with trembling hands, then put on a brave smile for reporters who waited outside. Fame offered no privacy, even in moments of raw vulnerability. Recovery was brutal and lonely. Bandages hid her face, but could not muffle the throbbing pain. Swelling distorted her reflection, and she worried she had made an irreversible mistake. Friends sent flowers, yet what she craved most was a break from judgment. When complications forced her back to the operating room, Melissa realized that chasing perfection felt like running on a treadmill that never stopped. Choosing implants added another layer to the fragile tower. Executives whispered that curves photographed better, and billboards seemed to agree. Melissa rationalized that surgery was part of the job, but every adjustment moved her a step farther from the Prairie Girl audiences first adored. Years later, she looked in the mirror and felt like a stranger wearing a costume sewn from other people's opinions. The decision in 2015 to remove the implants was more than a medical choice. It was a personal revolution. She walked into surgery determined to reclaim the body that had carried her through childhood fame and adult doubts. Waking up afterward, she felt lighter, not only physically, but emotionally free from years of silent compromise. In interviews, she urged other women to trust their instincts over industry noise, proving that growth sometimes means subtracting, not adding. Through every twist, Melissa kept working, kept learning, and kept surprising the very fans who thought they knew her best. Her story is not only about Prairie life or Hollywood spotlights. It is a testament to resilience, reminding us that even under heavy makeup and bright lights, a person can find the courage to start over again and again. Aging in Hollywood can feel like a full-time battle. Yet Melissa Gilbert now waves a bright victory flag. In a fiery chat with Prevention, she blasted the phrase anti-aging, shouting, "There's no such thing. Aging is a privilege, not a problem." She declared, "I'm aging gratefully. I want to see every line, every mark. It's part of who I am." Every sentence crackled with defiance. This bold outlook proves just how far she has traveled. The girl who once reshaped her face to please producers now cheers for crow's feet and honesty. She tells women everywhere to ignore impossible rules and love the skin they live in. Still, one name refuses to fade. Dean Butler. What is their truth today? What secret did Melissa finally spill? Buckle up, because the answers rewrite decades of fan fiction. The curtain lifts on a confession that stunned loyal viewers. In her memoir, Prairie Tale, Melissa drops the line fans waited years to hear. I was 15 and he was 23. I looked like a boy, and I had to pretend to fall in love with a grown man. So much for fairy tale bliss. Their very first kiss happened on national television with zero warm-up. No quiet rehearsal, no gentle build. Just blazing lights and a script that required instant fireworks. Melissa later wrote she felt terrified, calling the kiss awkward and weird. Dean sensed a gap in age and tiptoed around it, staying polite and professional. Here's the real twist. Melissa's teen heart actually belonged to Rob Lowe, not to Dean. She told readers, "We were never romantic. Dean was like a big brother." Scripts ignored real feelings, forcing her to gaze at Dean as if it were destiny week after week, and viewers swallowed every second. Off camera, there was neither secret hatred nor hidden passion, only respect. Dean's calm patience eased attention. Melissa said he never crossed a line, treating her like a human being instead of a TV prop. Their hard work soon created one of television's most cherished love stories. Laura and Almanzo practically invented hashtag couple goals long before hashtags existed, and fan letters begged for extra kisses. Years later, Melissa broke more hearts with four simple words. There was no spark. That truth makes her on-screen magic even more impressive. It was pure acting. Dean backed her up in his own book, Prairie Man. We had to build a believable romance, and Melissa made it easy. He accepted the task of protecting a teen partner while pressure from networks skyrocketed. When the series ended, the rumors refused to die. Interviewers probed for hidden love, but Melissa stuck to honesty. We were never more than co-stars. It was acting, really good acting. Time proved her right. For her 50th birthday in 2014, she and Dean reunited on television, laughing over Prairie memories instead of secret dates. Melissa later said, "He was a constant during a very confusing time, and I'll always be grateful for that." No steamy scandal, just a friendship that outlived gossip. With the show wrapped, real life racing like a storm. Many child stars crumble, yet Melissa fought for new roles even as the industry kept seeing Laura's braids. She accepted tougher parts in TV movies like Choices of the Heart and darker projects, such as Babylon 5. She voiced cartoons, stepped onto Broadway, and refused to vanish. Personal life, however, swirled with headline drama. A headline romance with Rob Lowe ended. A marriage to Bo Brinkman brought son Dakota, then divorce. And a later union with Bruce Boxleitner unfolded in public view. Through it all, Melissa stayed blunt about hard truths, addiction battles, botched surgeries, and moments of staring into mirror without recognizing her own face. Fans admire the courage in every admission. Health threw curveballs too. A Dancing with the Stars fall injured her spine, demanding surgery. In 2016, she even dipped into politics, running for Congress in Michigan before health made her step back. The bid proved she would not shrink from any arena. A peaceful turning point arrived in 2013 when she met actor Timothy Busfield. They married quietly, bought a tiny Catskills home, and traded red carpets for vegetable gardens. No Wi-Fi some days, no cosmetic upgrades, just real dirt under fingernails and fresh air in their lungs. Melissa removed her breast implants, stopped coloring her hair, and told people, "This is my face. This is me." The declaration rang like a bell of freedom. Her 2022 memoir, Back to the Prairie, digs into frozen pipes, fix-upper nightmares, and the joy of living small. Readers devour the honesty. Melissa also champions mental health, body image, and the power of aging loud and proud. She reminds young women they do not need a surgeon's scalpel or filter to feel worthy. Today, Melissa Gilbert is far more than Laura Ingalls. She is a mother, a wife, a writer, and a truth teller in a world stuffed with illusions. She stumbled, healed, and chose authenticity over endless applause. That is a legacy shining brighter than any rerun. Bravery, kindness, and strength carved from an imperfect but truthful life. What do you think of Melissa's fearless stand? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you had fun with this story, give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Ready for more jaw-dropping tales? Tap the video now popping up on your screen.